What's up, Raiders? Bionic here. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video where we are going to talk about the reality of farming gear. I'm finally at a point on my account where I'm trying to maintain a literally full roster of champions. What do I mean by a full roster of champion? I'm talking about literally enough champions to do all the content in the game, including faction wars, the dungeons, clan boss, tag arena, classic arena, and now there's the Doom Tower coming. So I figured this is a good time to talk about my current roster after almost now 19 months of playing this game. So I'm going to throw some numbers at you guys. I'm going to show you guys some screenshots, the spreadsheet, things I've talked about before, but hopefully this will put things in perspective for you guys as to what you can expect out of this game over the period of time that I have been playing. Now, of course, if you're a free-to-play player or if you're a low spender or even a well, then it's going to change, right? It's going to change quite a bit. And I had not a conversation, but I overheard during the Spicy Wing contest, Manibald and Stu Gaming talking because they've purchased the speed packs, as they said on stream. And it really hit me. It hit me because when I was listening to them, I think at some point, Manibald, if I'm not mistaken, or whichever one of the two, right? And I imagine they're not the only ones, but they said that they basically bought all the speed packs, right, that we've seen in the shop now multiple times, 4 or 5 times. I've shown those pictures before. In this case, it's like you can purchase them 9 times. And then I showed with like the spreadsheet that like this represents roughly for me, like one piece is basically what I get per week with extra energy left over from just doing the regular stuff. Okay, so like buying one of those packs for me is like 6 weeks of work extra on top of what I can do. And then you can do this 9 times. Okay, so it's next level. But then they said they bought, I think, all of these, and out of all of these, what they got is one usable piece. One usable piece that had a triple speed roll. So you might tell yourself, well, I need way more than just triple speed rolls. I get that. But if you want to reach the end game, sort of where I'm at right now, that's the gear I'm looking for. Triple speed rolls on speed gear, right? And it has to be, like I showed in the spreadsheet, it would have to be either Epic 6-star, Legend 5-star, or Legend 6-star for it to be worth it for me to even try to roll. This is not even taking into account rolling the right main stack. So what does that look like on my account after all this time? Have I finally reached that point? And I want to show you guys my gear, put that into perspective like I said before. But first, let's go over some quick numbers here. I think I wrote it down here, like 55 level 60 champions. By this time, I have 55 of them. Then I have, on top of that, 50 champions, level 50 champions, right? I use some of them, but obviously not all. For the level 60 champions, I'll use 50 of them all the time, which means there's a couple that are like duplicates or like extras from certain factions that I end up not needing. So this is a problem. You got to pay attention to that as well. If you're going to work on a roster, ideally you don't want to do 10 Dark Elf champions, right? You want to do 5, maybe 6 if you get like a game changer and that you really need that champion to work. But like pay attention to that, because if you want a full roster and then you want to gear them, obviously you're not going to want to shuffle that gear around all the time. So like try to keep it at 5 or maybe 6 champions of each faction. Of the level 50s, I only use 17 of them. Okay, I said I had 30, but I only use 17 of them, which is currently mainly for faction wars. And now I say geared, but like obviously they're not all fully geared. I still have some blanks. I do have the gear for it. But what I mean by geared is having some kind of set that is somewhat beneficial, that it's enough for trying to push for, let's say, stage 15 and up, or faction wars, right? So I mean, after all this time, this is somewhat all I have. But don't forget, I'm free to play, okay? So you can expect, hopefully, to progress a little bit faster than this. If we'll take some of my best champions though, and we look at the best gear that I have, and like I explained, like speed pieces, I'm farming that day in, day out right now because I'm trying to play the speed game. And so some of these pieces here have only double speed rolls. I still do not have triple speed rolls. This one right here, we have yet again a double speed roll. Here's one of my very few triple speed roll on a speed item after almost 19 months, okay? So going back to what Stu or Manibold was saying is that even after purchasing all the speed packs, they only get one piece like this, one. So like, whether you're farming the shop or you're farming Dragon 20, you have to set your expectations right. It is going to take a very long time for you to get the right gear. Of course, you can farm overnight with auto clicker if you want. If you have the gems for it, great. It's going to go even faster. But I'm trying to show it to you guys as the guy that is not farming overnight. I don't use auto clickers. I only basically use whatever sort of energy that is given to me. I do get the content creator perks now, but I'll tell you guys this, it is not necessarily going towards extra farming. It's taking care of other things just to make more content. So like, again, this is, I think, an accurate representation of what you can expect over time. 6-star speed boots. Okay, I'm starting to get a couple pieces of those, but not a ton. We have only double speed roll on the chest. And here's the kicker. I do now have my first quadruple speed roll on an item, and it turns out it's a flat item. So guys, don't get rid of those items, because if you expect that you're going to get the perfect pieces with the perfect main stat and get triple speed roll, if not quadruple speed rolls, you're shooting yourself in the foot. I probably got rid of a lot of flat stat items that had some speed on it that could have been a triple roll, even a chest piece, right? Even, well, I think these two would be the worst, right? So again, don't expect to have this immediately, and don't expect to be the best if you're only playing like I am playing as a low spender or a free-to-play player, right? So even the banners getting a triple speed roll, this is one of my very few triple speed roll speed across the entire account, not just high elves accessories, right? Then we can look at the rest of the gear real quick, and then you guys, I think, will see sort of like overall what I'm using after all this time, after all this farming of doing all these tournaments, all these events, all these fusions, literally 19 months. What kind of gear am I using after all of this? Barely any set pieces for life, right? Maybe a couple random piece here. Attack, whatever I used in the beginning. Now I don't farm it. I certainly don't try to use it because there are better sets out there like Cruel. So you would obviously want to use that before you revert to using these pieces right here. But I do still use them on some of my secondary champions, the ones that are used in, let's say, dungeons that I don't necessarily use every day, like my Cold Hearts, a Berserker for Faction Wars. So again, I do use it, but not on my best champions. Defense, kind of the same thing. Some odd sets here and there for a little bit more stats. Some clan boss champions, but overall, I don't really use the defense sets. Speed sets, literally a ton of them. They are used everywhere. They make everything that much easier. Clan boss, dungeons, arena. It is so important to have, but we're programmed to believe that, right? And I think like the speed meta is in place now. However, we need to find a way to work around this. And I'll show you guys an example right at the end before I let you guys go of what I've been trying out. And I do have other guys on the Discord saying basically they're going for like high defensive teams as well. It's still not easy to do. But at some point, you might have to accept that if you keep trying to play the speed game, you're never really going to get there, okay? You're never going to reach the top 300 in Platinum because you know what you're up against, right? Credit cards. Then we have critical rate, a couple pieces here and there. Again, I don't really farm that. Crit damage, very few pieces, but I do try to incorporate it as it's pretty decent, right? Accuracy, again, couple pieces here and there. I do get them from Dragon 20, but I'm trying to keep only the really, really good ones, right? Then we have resistance, very few pieces. Lifesteal, quite a lot. Again, using it for clan boss, so obviously you do need a lot of pieces. So again, Dragon is real important, I get that, but maybe don't focus too much on it is what I'm trying to get at, what you'll see in a second. Daze sets, barely use that. Frost sets, I barely use them. Then we have a couple more things here, barely use. Immunity sets, great for PvP, but I don't farm a ton of Fire Knight, therefore I still don't have great pieces. Shield sets, I did get really lucky. I bought a lot from the marketplace. I did get a lot of pieces from the Fire Knight, and I use it quite a bit. But this is mainly arena and dungeons. You don't use that in clan boss. So again, kind of like the immunity sets, a little bit of a niche application, but they're still pretty useful. All the relentless pieces that I've kept in 19 months of playing, trying to finish first in tournaments, this is what I have. Barely any pieces. Savage, same thing, barely any pieces. Stun sets, I have 2 working sets. after all this time. Toxic, barely used. Retaliation, not that much. Avenging, I've tried to make my first set not too long ago. Stalwart, I only have one set that I'm using, couple odd pieces. Reflex, I don't even use. And then finally, Cruel and Immortal. So I guess that's the final part here, is that a lot of my gear, or a decent portion of it, actually comes from the clan boss. Some of my best nukers right now are built in full Cruel. I didn't have that before, but that's the importance of working on your clan boss as quickly as possible, is that you will benefit from that as well. So I'm in fact farming clan boss, but I'm also farming Dragon 20 to complement. And I think that those two combined together address a good portion of the game. So I thought I'd put that into perspective for you guys, because obviously it is going to take a lot of time for you guys to get here, but I find myself more and more trying to use these pieces because I get them on a daily basis, right? Not to mention the sacred shards, void shards, legendary tomes, and epic tomes you get on a daily basis. So it somewhat also supports what I've been saying, that the clan boss, in my opinion, is the most important aspect of the game you need to focus on for those extra resources, but also for some gear. And then you want to do, obviously, Dragon 20. Accessories, it's the same thing. However, now that we have these new ones right here that you can get from the bazaar, I find myself not really wanting the farm spider, because I'm thinking this is better. So I'm going to wait until I have good pieces from this, therefore reaching gold 1 in Tag Arena. And I get that this is not new player friendly, but it's still an objective that you guys should focus on as quickly as possible. And now we're going to have the whole crafting stuff from the forge and whatnot, so who knows how obsolete all this gear will become. Therefore, what exactly are you going to end up using in the long run? That's the big question. And finally, here's what I meant by trying to work against the speed meta. I've built one of my first heavy defense teams. It's not the first time I talk about a defense team. I did a beginner defensive nuke build, which was using Haikatoon, Rosin, Mussolini Major, whatever. Well, this is yet again another example. This one is working off passives, mainly passives. And I was surprised because I do get wins, quite a lot of wins. This team is actually working quite well. And I'm in what, gold 1 right now, going towards gold 2, so it is doable. Okay, so the speed meta is actually pretty important, but don't forget that there are some champions that can actually make teams viable on a heavy defense slow team. Okay, so pay attention to that, because we're all, like I said, we're programmed to farm all that speed gear, yet I find myself after all this time having literally only like one piece that has a triple speed roll and one piece that has a quadruple speed roll after all this time. So at some point you have to realize that it's maybe not the only way to go about this. Okay, so guys, hopefully this puts some perspective in what an account can look like after all this time playing with just the free resources given to you by the game. If you pay, you will progress faster. I've said that before, but like at some point, even the pay-to-play players will plateau, and it's only a matter of time before, even as a low spender or even free-to-play, you reach that point as well. You can get there, it's just a lot longer. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.